afternoon, everyone. I call to order the GCC Board meeting, March the 12th, 2024 at 4:45. Roll call. Mark Anderson. Absent today. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrek.
Present.
Jack Turner, Mr. Jack Turner, and Lily Campbell. All board members except one, president accounted for. Thank you. Welcome, board members. Glad to see you. Welcome, cabinet. Thank you for being here. Glad to see all of you, superintendent. And it is so wonderful to look out there and see so many of you, and particularly so many students. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for being here with us. We are excited about tonight's program. So thank you very much. And to those of you who are watching us virtually, thank you, and we're so glad to see everyone and to be with us. So, with that, we will continue with our board. Do we have public comments?
We have no public comments.
No public comments at this time. Thank you. So with that, we are going to move directly into the superintendent's update because I know he has a lot to tell us. He's been very busy. So we are happy to listen to you and hear you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, board members, and welcome everyone to our board meeting tonight. So just a few things I'd like to highlight, and obviously we have a lot of wonderful young faces in the room that we're going to recognize later, so we'll share more about them. But did want to share with the board that next week, myself and a number of other members of our leadership team, as well as some of our school administrators, will be attending the California Charter Schools Association Conference. We all are really looking forward to learning, bringing back innovative ideas that will obviously help us fulfill our purpose and our mission and vision. So I'm just curious of my administrators here, our staff, who's all going to the conference next week. So we have some site leadership as well as central office. Really happy about that. Last month, I had the opportunity to attend the AASA National Conference on Education. It was September 15th through 17th. One of the best parts of that conference was a half-day session that they did on the portrait of a graduate. And it was really nice to see how some other school districts across the country are implementing the portrait of a graduate and the work that they're doing. And I'm actually proud to say that we are, in many ways, light years ahead of where others are. So I'm really proud of our work. I'm proud of the implementation. I'm proud how fast we were able to take this concept and move it to action very quickly. On March 1st, I had the opportunity to lead our first teacher leader group meeting for this session with teachers from throughout the GCC. This taught our teachers how to lead within and beyond the classroom, as well as influence others to improve our practices and work. And so looking forward to more on that. Kayla Talks. If you have not had the opportunity, there are a few of us in this room who could be considered podcast stars. And so Kayla Vermeulen from CCCS TK8 interviewed our campus principal, Angie Praxayavong Briones, and our campus director, our CCCS director, Mr. John Campbell, Dr. Heather Gold, and myself, and it was, phenomenal. So we will share those links with the board, but on February 7th, I had the opportunity to be interviewed and talk about a focus on 21st century leadership from the superintendency, and so really enjoyed the conversation with Kayla. Just in terms of a few of our highlights from our schools, so we had 2 students from GCC who were selected for the AXA Region 3 Every Student Succeeding Award. I'm trying to see, they may be up there. Yes, they are. There we go. One was Memora Scott, who is a 12th grade student at CCCS. What was very exciting in having the opportunity to recognize or have AXA recognize Memora is last year Memora was a part of the student focus group that actually from CCCS helped us launch a lot of our work around a portrait of a graduate, so really proud of Memora. The other is a third grade student at COA Elementary, Anton Rybakov, and again, very proud of this young man and his story, as well as Memora will just tug at your heart so well. So I want to say congratulations to both Memora and Anton. At Futures High School on February the 29th, Futures and Higher Learning Academy held a Black History Month family engagement night at RDP, and we celebrated the legacy and accomplishments of our African American students, families, as well as local business owners. And I want to affirm Maisha Britt and our PFO, as well as the students and the administration who pulled that event off. Very, very well done, and I was unable to attend, but really heard a lot of great positive things about it. Read Across America Week. So if you have not had the opportunity to do that, we definitely will spend some time. That's my timer. Okay, we're done. But last week was Read Across America week, and I attended events at GIS where I had the opportunity to read to a couple of classes along with Principal Dillon and Executive Director Takoy. It was so much fun. I got to take my annual book, which is Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and sing to the students. And then the other one I read was Oh, the Places You'll Go. And then I had the opportunity to spend some time at CCCS TK8 and reading to students at their Reading Buddies Day. And I will never forget Santos, kindergartner, who I enjoyed spending some time with. And John and Angie, well, they can tell you stories, but that was an active young man, and I enjoyed reading to him. Women's History Month, that's our month here, and we want to take this opportunity to recognize all of our women leaders from the board all the way out through our sites. Let's give all of our women leaders a big round of applause. So March is Women's History Month, and on last week, many of our schools celebrated the International Day of the Woman, and so really want to again appreciate all that you bring and the work that you do. Yesterday, we had the privilege of welcoming, and I actually have it phonetically spelled out here, Dr. All right, Matt, Tsusai Sasaki? Thank you. Dr. Sasaki. Dr. Sasaki, who is a researcher and professor from Japan, was invited to tour SAVA and CCCS facilities and programs. I want to affirm Matt, Angie, John, Ashley, Madden, as well as Maury Elliott for their hospitality, and I believe you're going to kind of hear a little bit more down the road about the research that he's doing around non-classroom based learning and its impact on student learning, and it was just really exciting to have the opportunity to have him see our programs in action and actually elevate the work that we do on an international stage. We were happy that this partnership was brought to us by Charlie Leo and Ting Sung, who were the former founders of Natomas Charter. Finally, we had a successful WASP visit at GIS, and I want to again affirm Principal Dillon and her team for a really wonderful work that they've done. And I have to tell everyone, they did their WASP visit in the midst of one of the 100-year storms. So they had no power, no electricity, no network, no internet, and at the end of the week, through telephone hotspots, the WASP chair was just very complimentary about the work that's happening. My favorite line from the report was, and they have an effective use of technology, and I'm like, but you couldn't see it, but that's okay. But they did a great job, so definitely want to affirm Deep and her team. And then finally, board, we are looking forward to our annual end-of-year board reports, which will begin during the April 23rd board meeting. I'm looking forward to our school leaders presenting about their schools, as well as using our GCC priorities and portrait of a graduate as kind of the backdrop. And that is my report.
And that is your report. Before I ask for comments, board members, I also need to let you know that on the 1st of February, we received a letter of intent from the superintendent and the letter of intent states that he is looking forward to being with us again next year. So the contract does call for him to notify us every year of his intent to be here. So I do have the letter. So that. And we know why because you're so busy. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the visits to the school. And I will apologize now while I have, because I was supposed to have been at 2 schools last week, and I don't think you want me bouncing off the wall with a major sinus infection. So, Ms. Steed, I'm sorry. And the International Women's Day I could not make, but my thoughts were with you, and I'm glad to hear the report today. So thank you so much for filling in and taking care of all of those issues. And now, we are ready for the reason why we are all here and the reason why we do what we do day after day after day. And that's because of the students that we're going to recognize now and the work that we do with, the work that you do with students. We're so glad to have so many of you with us. And we are now ready for our study sessions, which will be student athletic recognition, student report, Futures High School, and we'll go on with that. So right now, our student recognition.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, I am privileged and honored to bring our student athletes who really have done great work over the course of this year, and I'll read through a little bit of their season that many of our students have gone through. Tonight, we have a certificate that is going to go for each of our students with your principal, and he will take that, and I believe, if I'm correct, we have you have a student a sports awards night? Yes. So we look forward to you receiving those certificates. But tonight we want to have the opportunity just to recognize each of you here in our board meeting. So the first group I'd like to recognize, and when I call your sport, if you'll just stand up and we're going to clap for you, and that is our Futures High School girls volleyball team, fall season. So do we have any of our, all right.
All right.
So the Futures High School girls volleyball team finished the season with a 14-9 record, placing them at rank 14th in the Sac-Joaquin section division for the volleyball rankings, and the girls made the playoffs for the first time in school history. So congratulations to our girls volleyball. Futures High School wrestling. Whoa, all right. I think I heard Mr. Elliott say he'll take any of you on as soon as this meeting is over today. But the wrestling team finished 6th place out of 8 teams this year. They placed 6th at the Wrestling League tournament at Rio Vista High School and placed 9 wrestlers. They also qualified 4 boys for the divisional tournament at Rosemont High School and placed 30th out of 39 teams. And so we want to take this opportunity to congratulate our wrestlers. Coach, how many years have we been doing wrestling? There we go. So that's impressive. Great job to our wrestlers. All right. Futures High School girls basketball winter season. All right. We're really proud of our girls basketball team. They placed 19th in the Sac-Joaquin section division, and they improved from their last year's record. And we're looking forward to them continue to grow their program and continue to, well, give the boys a run for their money. So good job, ladies. Really appreciate you. All right, let's see. Futures High School boys basketball. All right, so the boys basketball team concluded with I thought this was a typo, so I had to go on Max Preps just to keep looking, a 27-7 record?
27-7?
27-7? Is that correct, gentlemen? Good job. Earning them 3rd place ranking in the Sac-Joaquin section Division 5 basketball rankings. They made it to the 2nd round of the CIF State Boys Championship, and I will tell you, I watched them play a few of their games throughout the season, especially in the end of the playoffs, and man, fast, they play with heart and everything, so congratulations, gentlemen. So before we get ready to call all of our teams up to take a picture with the board, I want to just recognize some other sports and athletes that we have, and that is our GCC Elementary and Middle School Sports League for our fall sports. Epic won the elementary school volleyball championship, so Futures, they're getting ready so they can move up to you guys. COA won the middle school volleyball championship, and then HLA won the middle school flag football championship. And for our winter sports, HLA won the elementary school basketball championship as well. Oh, wait a minute. HLA won the middle school basketball championship, the elementary basketball championship, and the middle school boys basketball championship. Go Eagles!
All right.
So I want to say congratulations to all of our athletes, because one of the things that's also very important for us is that not only are they examples and exemplary on the field, but they're also doing their jobs in the classroom. So really proud of our students. So if you're an athlete, if you'll come up to the stage, and we want to take a picture with you and the board members, again, just to recognize your accomplishment this season. So with that being said, stand up and come up.
And I need to say congratulations to all of you. We are so proud of you. That's why we worked so hard for you. Thank you.
So tonight, we also have, in addition to the students that we're recognizing, we also have our student report to the board. Our student report that is going to come to you, I'm very proud of both of these young individuals. I have the honor of meeting with them a few times a year, but they sit on the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, and they both have been very valuable to the work that we're doing and having the student voice. So with that being said, I'd like to invite Edward and Jayla up. Now remember, in your report, you're supposed to talk about how, much work we do and the student, advisory.
He's telling you what to say now.
All right. Jayla, Edward, who's going to go first? All right, Jayla.
Hi, I'm in 12th grade. I'm a part of leadership, and also I am ASB president.
My name is Edward George. You guys can call me EJ. Yes, sir. My name is Edward George, and I go by EJ, but my friends, you guys can call me EJ. Mr. Jason, you already know. I am a basketball player for Futures High School, and I play a center position.
All right. So for me, Futures High School has given me a lot of learning experiences. One that was fully funded and paid for by the school was a trip to CATA, which gave me a experience to explore other high schools together at a college where we got to all communicate from different leadership groups, and we got to take all those ideas back to our own schools. It was a very fun experience, and also gave me a lot of insight and new ideas that I've used at our school. Moving back to Futures, something that we're currently working on is our prom, which is coming up on April 27th. We've been picking out themes and tickets and all that kind of stuff. We're also working on our March Madness Rally, which is a student versus staff basketball game, which we've done for 2 years now. The students love it. And that is coming up next week on Friday. And leadership and working for the school has always been a really big passion of mine. I love to create events for families and students to come to make memories at, because that's always a big thing for me. And I really love our school because it's smaller, which is something that you don't get at a lot of other high schools, because then you can kind of get a better connection with your staff members and your fellow students because there's not as many people there. I also love how easily accessible it is to talk to people that are higher up and get student ideas heard and listened to, which is kind of what we do with that's what we do with the superintendent thing. And also I'm in school site council, where we communicate with parents and staff, so we get all of our ideas heard, which is super nice.
Okay. That was beautiful. I'm not gonna
Thank you, EJ.
Okay, well, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is EJ. Once again, I play basketball for Futures. First and foremost, I would really like to thank Superintendent Jason Semple and Mr. Maury Elliott for coming to support our games. And you handing me my award at the end of the championship game really, touched home for me. It was it's crazy how far our board, our leaders can come just to support the students. It doesn't end just in the classrooms. It expands. Feel me? You understand? So it's I really appreciated that. I appreciate the board. I understand, it was probably a work day. He needed to be here, and instead he went to come watch our game. So I appreciate all of you guys for everything you do for us, the buses, the cars, everything that you guys have done for us. We appreciate it to make our basketball experience last longer, feel better, and more exciting for even the students that's not on the team. I've never seen as many people come to these games during the playoff season. It was crazy. Next off, I would like to start to talk about our biomed program. It wouldn't have been possible without you guys. You guys give us the materials that we need in order to do what we need to do in this class. This class allows us to have hands-on communication with each other. We can bond with people that we've never even had, conversations with outside of the classroom. And it's I know people, some of them are in this room, that I, haven't had that communication with at all. And biomed, especially the teacher as well, Ms. Mostova, she encourages students to want to enact a lot more. So it's not one-on-one, oh, can I do this project by myself? No, you have to cooperate with the team, right? Something else that I really enjoyed was the projects and the field trips. We have field trips almost every month. And again, that wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, coming from a student athlete of Futures High School, the whole team, the whole school, we really appreciate you guys for everything that you do for us. And to talk a little bit more about the projects, we do things insertions into the body, making sure you don't hit the wrong vein or anything like that. Learning how the body works. I know. We do projects that involve learning the human body. And as an athlete, I find it really resourceful and useful. Because she helps me take care of my body more, learning what not to drink before games, what to drink before games, just the small little things. So yeah, I would really like to thank her, the school, our principal, Ms. Lovano, and I would again like to thank you guys. All right. That's the last part. I got you. Okay. Right here is our code. This is our Futures Nights code. that we are trying to install, that we will be installing for next year, trying to get students to level up, which is our motto. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got you right there. Yes, ma'am. This will help us create a better positive learning environment and culture by helping us care for others, owning up to our actions, doing your part, giving effort always, and yeah, that's our quote. That's going to be our new code.
Thank you. Let's give. Jayla and EJ, I think the board may have a few questions for you. I mean, you guys, yeah.
I appreciate everything that you've said, and no one told you to say those things, right?
No, ma'am.
It came from your heart.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you talked about biomeds and some other things. Anything that you're doing this year, does it make you want to go into that when you go to college, or you look into the future with some of the things you're learning right now?
Yes, ma'am. It definitely opens up some curiosity in my mind. It definitely allows me to think a lot more about after high school, especially with all the new fields. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we've had IT learners come inside to our campus and teach us a lot about cars and much more than just cars. So biomed definitely opens up a field of things outside of just medical stuff. So I really appreciate it, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is excellent. So we really do hope that what we're doing now moves you into the next phase of your life. So congratulations, and thank you both for coming and giving us information that we like to hear from students, not from the staff or anyone else, but how you really, truly feel. Board members? Anyone else? All right. Thank you again.
Again, I just want to just say how proud I am of both of these two young people who they've always been very open, very honest, and they've given they've shared their thoughts with me.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, because it really has informed the work that we're doing. So, EJ and Jayla, if you'll come up, we want to take just one picture with you. I know that's. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on up.
Come on up.
And so we're just really proud that both of you are representing 6,000 kids tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have one comment.
you have a comment?
Yes, from board member. Mr. Block?
I just want the students, I want to thank them for being here tonight, because you didn't send an AI, so that's a good thing.
Well,
Madam President, you want to tell them something?
yeah, I want to tell you, we love you, we appreciate you, and thank you very much. But I know you got homework to do, right? And you're just dying to get there for your homework. So if you would like to leave now, we will excuse you so you can get back home and get ready for school tomorrow. So again, thank you, each one of you, for being here and coming, and we appreciate all of your hard work that you're doing. So he's going to give these
We're gonna
to
give
the
your principal.
principals.
Your certificates.
So you may be excused, parents who are here with.
Yeah, just so we have some
Can we
parents,
recognize
yeah.
the parents? Parents, would you
Have a
please
waiver, stand.
wave your hand so we can see you? There's one and another. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Thank thank you for all you do, all your sacrifices that you make with your students. Were not for you, we would not be here. They would not be here. So thank you for being here with us and the support that you give to them. We appreciate you.
All right.
All right, so you may be excused.
You can be
You
excused.
can stay if you like.
But if you want to stay and watch governance at its best, but feel free to go ahead and return.
I cannot.
Gateways.
My chair gets hung on this thing and I can't pull it up. I'm leaving too. Oh, my chair gets hung on this. Yeah, I'm okay now.
All right.
Thank you again. Thank you. Good luck.
Is there something like his control?
All right. You having problems?
Having technical difficulties.
Little technical difficulty.
Can we keep going though?
Yeah.
We can keep going?
We can keep going. Board, we can look here. And to our audience, the presentation will be on the screen to the left of, my left, your right.
So we are
Behind you
now on legislative update.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, sir. We are waiting for you.
Yes, hi. Matt Taylor, Chief Communications and Strategy Officer. It's good to see everyone. But I guess the kids didn't want to stay for legislation and budgets. I mean, this is the best part of the meeting. So we have a couple of things to talk about in our legislative update. So there were over 2,200 bills introduced by the legislative deadline this year. So there's a lot of legislation that's going through the system. There are really two bills that we're tracking out of those 2,200. So the first is AB 2254. So you'll see us talk a lot about this bill coming up. This is actually a bill that's sponsored by the California Charter Schools Association. And what it would do is allow charter schools to continue to use verified data during their charter renewals. So current law that is set to sunset in June of 2025 allows for charter schools to bring not only their state data, but then any of our other assessments, our iReady assessments, student level, teacher-led assessments, all of that we can bring to our renewal hearing, and the districts can consider that when they're granting our charter renewal. That law sunsets in June of 2025. So if this law if the AB 2254 does not pass, we're back to only being able to rely on the single state test given in May of each year for grades 3 through 8 and 11. So what that would mean is a district would be evaluating the success of Futures High School based on the 11th grade test scores and their graduation rates. That's it that they would be able to consider. So we are very hopeful that this bill is successful so that we can continue to tell the whole story of our schools when it comes time for renewal. Any questions on 2254 at this point? All right. There's another bill that we're tracking that's AB 1380. And what this bill is designed to do is to allow school districts to deny charter schools based on the fiscal condition of the school district. So if the school district makes, they're calling them any budget reduction efforts, then they could deny a charter school any material revisions to that charter or potentially any charter renewals based on the fiscal condition of that school district. So what that would mean is if they cut their budgets, they could say we're in fiscal crisis and therefore we don't have to allow a new charter school to exist, or maybe even the current ones we have be renewed. So there's a huge risk in this bill that we are tracking it very, very closely. So those are the two bills that we will continue to bring back to you, I assume, over the next few months as we learn more about them. The deadline was mid-February, so nothing's really happened yet over at the legislature, but the policy hearings all start next week, so we'll get more at that point.
AB 1380 the AB 1380 is the one that we really want to keep abreast of, because that would really affect anything else that we do.
Yes, so,
particularly.
yes, we will
Yeah.
definitely keep you posted in terms of our communication so far. We've actually sent letters to the senator's office, reminding him of how important this is for charter schools to not be able to be denied based on the
Yeah.
fiscal condition of their authorizer. That's not anything our schools did, or our students shouldn't have to have their funding reduced or their school closed based on what some other school district did with their schools. So,
Just keep us informed, and if
absolutely.
we need to do anything.
Will do. Any other questions on legislation? I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Facilities use process update. Okay, that will be you, Mr. Maury.
All right, well, good evening, President Campbell, Superintendent Sample, and the Board of Directors. Tonight, I'm going to provide the board with a brief overview of our facilities use process. The process is very efficient but effective, so I've got 3 slides to share with you this evening. First off, when an outside entity wants to use one of our GCC facilities, we have a facilities use agreement application posted on our GCC website that's available to anyone to put a request in for our facility use. According to our board policy, we have a specific fee schedule that is different based on the different types of partners we receive: school partners, community events, or fair market events from entities that are looking to make a profit off of their event. Along with this board policy, we have very specific insurance requirements and other rules and regulations that are cleared through our legal team to make sure that we as an organization are covering our bases and providing a safe environment for the community to use. When we look at most of the facility use requests that have been coming in this school year, our athletic facilities are what seems to be top of mind for the community. The 4 schools or 5 schools shown on this slide have a majority of our athletic facilities that are requested. Sava, the new middle school gym, has been very popular with basketball teams. COA Middle School also has had a number of basketball and volleyball teams request use of their facility. The COA soccer fields are very popular, and the multipurpose room at Rancho Del Paso is used by sports teams and other community partners for just daily events. Internal controls to ensure that we have the right processes in place to make sure that we have a fair and controlled application process. They're all submitted directly through the Google form to the facilities department at GCC. Once an application is received, that application is reviewed, and if the facility is available on our calendar, the facilities team here at GCC then reaches out to the school site to clear with the principal or site administration that the field or classroom is really available for the requested date. If it is available, the agreement is then given back to the community partner. It is signed, and their insurance is submitted to make sure they have the proper coverage for the event. Once that process is done through the GCC business office, we invoice those partners for the facility use fee. And once that's completed, we calendar the event, let the school sites know and the partners know that they will be able to use our facilities for that given day and time. Again, pretty clear, pretty efficient, and it's a process that works. And I'm happy to take any questions on this time about our facilities or facility use agreements. Yes, Mr. Turner.
Jason, I hate to add to Maury's workload, but sometime at the end of the year, it would be nice to see the extent of the use of some of the facilities. I was particularly wanting to see how outside groups are using the theater.
Sure.
With the new facility that we have with the new basketball court and so forth, it's just nice to see both.
I heard all of it. It's okay.
That's all right. They're trying to teach me to learn this. Anyway, you heard me already, but I did turn it on. So there you have it. So anyway, I don't know if it's just a suggestion that I have.
I'm happy to provide that at the end of the school year.
Okay, thank you.
We'll definitely add that to Mr. Elliott's
There you
workload,
go.
so, yeah.
As I was looking at the use process, do you have anything about security and who is responsible for security or not responsible?
There's not necessarily security on site for each event, but depending on what the event is, who is going to be there, some events do require that we have staff open and close, and they may stay for the event to take care of custodial needs, and all of those fees are built into the facility use agreement contract.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Any
Any other
other-
questions?
Yeah, Bruce?
I remembered. Do we have much use of cafeterias and food preparation and that type of stuff?
No, not for outside facility use agreements. The cafeterias, we want to make sure we keep our own cleanliness standards, and we've got a number of kitchens, including the one at Saba that's an industrial kitchen for our culinary class. We are not renting those out because we want to make sure we keep clean, proper, safe facilities.
Any other comments, Ms. Maury? Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and now we are moving down to consent agenda items, board members. And for our audience, I will go over our consent agenda so you'll know what it is that we are dealing with. Adoption of the GCC board meeting 2/6/24. Personnel consent agenda items. Purchases over $30,000. Saba overnight field trip Yosemite National Park. CCCS overnight field trip Camp Rallis. Agreement for police service between Twin Rivers Unified School District and GCC. And job descriptions, new and eliminate. Those are the consent agenda items on which we will be voting in just a few minutes. So we have received all of the information in time to review it, to go over it and ask questions if we needed to. So at this point, I will entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Move approval. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion on any of the items mentioned? Hearing none, seeing no hands, I will roll call. Mr. Harry Block,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Turner,
Yes,
Lily Campbell, yes. The consent agenda items have been approved unanimously. And now, for our next big item is our business item. Approved second interim revised budget and financial report. And Ms. O'Mara, you are ready. Anything you need to say before we bring her in?
I think about the largest thing that I want to say is I just want to affirm Myra and her team for really a lot of hard work to obviously not only get our budget, but just the ongoing monitoring, the ongoing work that they do throughout the year. So definitely appreciate and want to publicly affirm Myra for her leadership.
Thank you. Good evening, President Campbell, Superintendent Sample, Board Trustee Mr. Block, Board Trustee Turner, and Mr. Mangrich. I will be presenting tonight the second interim budget report. And before I start, I want to acknowledge the effort that is made into this report. It's over 300, 400, 500, I'm not even sure how many pages anymore. But it's a very big document and a lot of work goes towards it. So Valerie and Yvonne are here, our Director of Business Services and Fiscal Supervisors. The rest of our team has been busy, but Lillian Mato, our Fiscal Supervisor, and Cindy Ponikvar and Andrew Gibson that are our Budget and Financial Analysts. And I also want to thank the sites for coming in, meeting with us. We do extensive budget meetings that last all week and a half or so, that include our Ed Services team, our executive directors that are here with us, and our principals, clerks, directors. So it's a team effort, and human resources, let's not forget them. So it's a group effort, and a lot of input goes into these reports. So in overview, we're going to be going over the LCFF assumptions, our enrollment and ADA data, our unduplicated pupil percentages. We'll be going over our revenue, our expenditures, the fund balance, and then at the end, some risks and conclusion. So the introduction is really just to guide you on what we're looking at. We are the second interim requires the LEAs to include your original adopted budget, so what you approved July 1st. Your board-approved operating budget, which would be first interim, we had that meeting in December. Your revised budget, which is this budget that you have in hand, which has expenditures through January 31st. That's the end of this reporting cycle, and it's being presented to you tonight for comparison against the first interim, and additional details you can find in the massive book that you have. Some of the LCFF assumptions that were included for this report. We're going to start off with the LCFF. The statutory COLA was 8.22%. This is probably the last high COLA you'll see in a couple years. So, yeah, I think this will be the last time you see it because our next meeting is our adopted budget. Amounts per ADA currently, our base is $9,994. Grade span adjustments, so this is your TK through 3 and your, I believe, 9 through 12. So there's grade span adjustments of 1,039. You have your supplemental and concentration add-ons, which we get both of. And then you also have the TK add-on, which is that new program, Universal TK of 3,067 per kiddo. For grade spans 4 through 6, you have your base of 10,146. We also have supplemental concentration for these grade levels. And then we move on to grade 7 and 8. Base there is 10,446. As you can tell, the base number is a little bit different in each of the grade levels. We also get supplemental concentration for those grade levels. And then moving on to our last section, grades 9 through 12, our base dollars per student is $12,106. The grade span adjustment for this, not to mix it up, which I think I did mess it up, and the first grade span adjustment is only for TK3, the 1,039. For 912, it's only 315. That we also get supplemental concentration for this group. These are a little tiny, so hopefully you can see them. But our enrollments, these are our enrollment numbers as the CBEDs for second interim. We're at an all-time high of 5,777 students. That's an increase of 101 from first interim, also increase from prior year. So we're continually growing enrollment in all of our sites. Some of our sites have stayed pretty flat, but for the most part, we're seeing growth. Average daily attendance is measured historically over 3 years to kind of see what the changes are. And those are our ADA numbers of 4,407, an increase of 104. And you can see it's actually more than the enrollment. That's because of our SAVAs and our independent study schools that kind of have a trajectory up towards the end. Our unduplicated pupil percentage is a 3-year average, and currently it's pretty flat. You see growth for CCCS and EPIC, which I think have had the highest impact in enrollment. So, but for the most part, the rest are kind of give or take 1%. So pretty flat. The demographics haven't changed so much in terms of this component. So this measures serves the low-income English learners, foster youth. So that population has pretty much stayed the same. Okay, we're going to go into the financials now. We're going to go ahead and talk about the revenues. Our LCFF revenue increased by 1.8 million. And you can see that it's based on enrollment and our ADA increases. Also, the increases for UPP was 4 out of the 9 sites, which make up this number. So that's how those factors are what makes up the LCFF revenue. For federal revenue, it stayed pretty flat. The increase you see of 86,000 is just movement and recognition of the CSI or school improvement grants that we received. Some of it is getting deferred into next year, so this is just the change from first interim to second interim in terms of that grant. For state revenue, we have a little much higher increase of 1.2 million. A lot of this has to do with the CTIG grant writing that's been happening behind the scenes. We have Director Ashley Madden that's been working on ensuring that we have more CTE dollars at our elementary levels. So we now have 7 out of our 9 sites receiving CTIG. So that is the increase that we're seeing there. We also recently found out we are eligible for LCFF funding equity multiplier for one of our LEAs, which is EPIC, Empowering Possibilities. So that is what makes up that 1.2 million increase in state revenue. For local revenue, like the state and CTE, we have had busy crew Ed Services Department working on ensuring that we have available dollars for mental health, professional development, and additional CTE pathways. So the Haluna Health Grant was applied by Sergey Terakov and Eric Crawford. And so that's really to focus on the mental health, community outreach, helping our families. So that is a big need in our community, and we will make good use of the $750,000 that is being awarded. For the professional development, Dr. Gold has worked with SCO, and in collaboration, they offered $30,000 for professional development for EI. As we all know, she's running that program and trying to find best use of AI in classrooms. So this is for that professional development, and we thank SCO for that collaboration with us. California Air Resource Board, this is a CTE pathway that is for our SABAs. So this is clean air, $500,000 awarded to SABA. We have $645,000 more increase allocations for interest. Our cash balances are high, and therefore our interest payments are coming in high. So that's $2 million increase in total for other local revenue. So in total, as you can see in the summary, First Interim was at 108.6, almost 7 million, and we are at 113.7 million, or 113.8, an increase of $5 million just in revenue. Okay, we'll now start talking about expenditures. We really worked hard this interim to really draw down anything that's not going to get utilized this year reasonably, ensuring they have enough money for the rest of the year. We have a lot of cuts that are coming in the next few years, and so we want to make sure that it's as tight as possible and as accurate as possible so the sites know how much money they have going into next year when we start having our meetings next month, right? So we'll start having meetings next month to start preparing for adopted budget. And so this really is the budget that I look at to ensure that these sites have, that all our sites have enough resources to be able to fund the positions that they need at their sites. So I'm going to start going into the classifications or the categories. For certificated salaries, we have a savings. It's a decrease of 1.3 million. That's due to a lot of vacancies that we have, and so those dollars has been drawn down. If we're not hiring for the rest of this year, we've drawn down those numbers. We do have a contract for gen ed teachers, people that are on leave, for classroom teachers with Scoot. We also have a lot of special education positions that are open that we're actively trying to hire for, but right now we have contracts in place. So we've made sure that if there is a contract out there, that we have a position posted to ensure that we're trying to recruit. Same thing is happening with the classified salaries. We have a decrease. We have a big turnover in paraeducators. So you see a lot resign, then we hire, then resign, then we hire. So it's a cycle, and I'm sure we're not the only district that has that pattern. We also have some special education positions here, the speech language pathologist assistant, and we also have a registered behavior specialist, which we are actively seeking to recruit. The benefit decrease is associated just to the decrease of certificated and salary classified positions, so that's just correlated. For books and supplies, we have historically used this as a placeholder for restricted grants. So if we don't have planned dollars or we're thinking it's going to be a multi-year, we use a 4,300 plug to kind of offset that until we get a plan. But this year, what we did is we reduced those budgets and moved the revenue over into our MYP so we can have a better picture for next year's budget. As we know, we are losing a lot of one-time resources, and so we need to ensure that we're giving them good information in terms of what will they have next year for multi-use of these. A lot of these grants are multi-year grants. There is some movement, obviously, to other operating expenses. As we just talked about, there's contracts that we are going into for SPED. We also have ELOP and summer vendors that we will be hiring for in the next coming months, and instructional textbooks and other related software. So we're always approving Chromebooks, laptops for students, instructional supply stuff for our kiddos. For capital outlay, there's $186,000. We've budgeted the bulk of big projects like the CalFit, but there is other projects that are coming out. For example, the CCCS playground. We had the equipment. We're finally installing that equipment at the TK8 campus. I'm sure that site is very excited for that. It's been a long time waiting. And then for Rancho Del Paso Futures and HLA campus, as you have approved already, the design planning for potential expansion needs. So those are what makes up that $186,000 increase from first interim. And lastly, one of our last pages is our fund balance. I made it a little bit different this time because I kind of wanted to show you, I'm going to go back one more slide. So in the expenditures, you can see there's another $5 million savings in that variance. So we have $5 million in revenue, $5 million savings in expenditures. That's a total of $10 million. That's where you see that net increase decrease, $10 million right there. Right, so you can see the change between first interim and second interim right in that line. The beginning fund balance, you see a negative $1 million. That was the audit adjustments that we had to make based on our final audit that was presented to you in January. And then our ending fund balance is just the difference of those two numbers. The restricted programs, that is restricted dollars, so not general fund. So this would fall with the new programs we've just received, the Haluna Health, CTIG, the block grants. So now this is what we are showing in our MYP as rolling over to the next fiscal year. So instead of being very conservative at 3.2 and leaving a lot of the monies unallocated in the current year, we've kind of swept that over into the next year. So it's 11 million right now that we're moving over to the next year to help fund positions for the following year. Non-spendables are your prepaids and your revolving account. And then you can see the three different reserves that we have, which is facility acquisition and construction, which we maintain at least 15% reserve for sustainability, 10%, and I do 5% for reserve for economic uncertainty across the board, all our sites. So that gives you a picture of where we are. Because our expenditures went down, those two reserves for sustainability and economic uncertainty are lower than they were for first interim because the expense numbers are coming down. And that is it. I will entertain questions.
All right. Yes, Mr. Jack.
Well, you know, I just, again, really want to thank you, Amira, and your staff. I truly understand the challenges of putting together this complicated budget, and it appears, you know, it's very informative and very clear, but I know how difficult that is to put this together. If I could just make some observations, it's hard to believe that it was 4 years ago this month that we really started into the pandemic, and it's interesting, we're finally nearing the end of the one-time money, and you know, it's kind of sad to see it go, but it's good to see it go in another way because of the complexity of and the reason that we received those funds. I know you emphasize this, the savings we have in the vacancies, both in certificated and classified staff, that's unfortunate. I know we hire outside vendors to fill those slots, or we ask our staff to pick up increased workload. I hope maybe in the future we're able to fill those positions.
I'm pretty sure there's sites that are doing the sixth period or taking on additional classes. We also have been doing heavy recruiting. I know that HR spent last week at job fairs, so we are actively trying to fill those positions.
And I know this is kind of my mantra, but this budget, as our others have, really emphasizes the fact that growth in student population is good. So
Yes.
keep that up. I thank you again for your staff and their hard work.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, Mr. Bruce.
I had a nice conversation with Omar this afternoon, and I continue to be very impressed with the fiscal management of the district and the ability to manage the ups and downs. As Jack mentioned, the amount of one-time money we've had in the last couple of years has been quite astounding, and now we have to deal without that. So I really appreciate your management in that area, and know that we'll continue that way.
Thank you. We have our person that does all the reporting for, Ms. Yvonne Grazer does tons and tons of categorical reporting. So thank you.
But I'm sure you, working with the principals in the schools, they are aware that, there could be some changes coming up. And so we have to look forward to those kind of changes, even though we don't want them, because we've had such one-time monies and all of that, but it's not going to stay. So the job will be making sure that the schools are very much aware of that and looking at where the cuts might happen and how they're going to happen. So,
Believe it or not, they've been really good sports when we've had budget meetings in terms of some of the reductions that we're seeing in some of the programs. And so they're working really hard to keep their budgets balanced and coming up with solutions with us in terms of, okay, these are the things that I can give up next year. So kudos to them too in terms of trying to make sure that they have taken accountability for their own budget.
yeah, just getting ready.
Yes.
Because we know something is going to happen, so we want to make sure we don't wait till the last minute and say, oops, guess what? So letting everyone know and working with them. So thank you so much. Thank you and your staff for all the work that you're doing. We really appreciate it. And letting us keep abreast of what's happening too, as a board. So
Yes.
we have to be cognitive of the fact that change is coming.
Yes.
And as a board, where do we fit into this? So thank you very much. Anything else?
I was going to say one thing. Nothing lasts forever. Even this soda is about gone.
Nothing lasts forever, you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, yes. Now we will entertain a motion to accept the financial budget report, the interim budget report. I need a motion.
I'll move to approve the second interim report.
Move to approve the second interim
Second.
report. And a second. Any discussion? Any more discussion? Questions? Comments? Hearing none, seeing none, I will roll call to make sure. Sorry about that. Okay, Mr. Harry Block,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes, and with accommodations and appreciation for all of the work that all of you have been doing, so thank you. And motion is approved. Thank you. All right. We are now down to board comments. Board comments? Yes, Mr. Turner.
I just want to say, it's really nice to see the student athletes here and the student leadership that we had, and it kind of reminds me of why we're doing this. And sometimes we get caught up in the budgets and the reports and the facilities, but the energy level and their accomplishments, it's really, again, just really impressive to see them here.
Yes, that was a highlight. I agree with you. Mr. Block, anything? Mr. Mandrick? And again, I offered my apologies to the two schools that I didn't make this last week. Ms. Steve, sorry, I was looking forward to reading across America with the students, but I didn't think you wanted me there bouncing off the wall. The students did not appreciate it. And also the Women's Day. So I apologize, but it won't be the last time. So, and again, the superintendent kind of took some of my accolades, but I also want to thank the women during the Women's International Day for all of the work that you do each and every day. And it doesn't matter whether you are classified, whether you're certificated, whether you're a teacher, whether you're administrator, nothing would happen without you. And if you look around, you are a vast part of this organization. So again, on behalf of the board, I can't thank you for all of the work that you do each and every day. It doesn't matter what your position is. Without you, we could not do it. So thank you again, and I would have said this if I had made the event, but I didn't, so now I am saying it. So thank you very, very much, and I hope soon we'll be able to say this to all of the gentlemen who are working in this department too. So thank you guys for everything that you do. I really appreciate it. And so, with that, we are now moving to closed session. Personnel matter pursuant to Government Code 54957. So we will be leaving now, going into closed session, and we will come back with the report out. Thank you. We are back from closed session, and no action was taken, just information only. So, thank you for staying, we appreciate it. And now, board members, is there anything else for the good of the organization? Hearing none. The next board meeting,
It's going to be April 23rd.
April 23rd.
And just want to remind the board that that will be the beginning of our school's annual reports. We'll start that meeting.
And I think I've already given,
What's that? That's about a month and a half. Yeah, that'll be a long time. Can we have one sooner?
You're absolutely welcome, and we will have a sooner meeting at the pleasure of the board.
and I hope all of you will be here because I will not be here on that date, so it's already given. All right, with that, I will now entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So move?
Second.
Second. All right, any other discussion on that item? Hearing none, all in favor, vote
Aye.
aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.